Today I'm going to be speaking about St. Patrick. As many of you know, St. Patrick is the patron saint of Ireland, and I'm just going to be talking through what he's done, his journey to sainthood. So, St. Patrick was actually born in Scotland. He was captured by pirates and was brought to Ireland, where he became known as a great preacher who taught the pagans about Christianity and brought many Irish people to God. So St. Patrick was born around 385 in Kilpatrick, Scotland. His parents, Calpurnius and Conchessa, were Romans living in Britain. When St. Patrick was around 14 to 16 years of age, he was captured by Irish pirates and brought back to Ireland to be a shepherd. The people in Ireland at that time were pagans or druids and did not have any Christian education. St. Patrick learned the language of the people as well as their culture and traditions. While he was held captive, St. Patrick grew in his prayer life, turning to God for solace and comfort. As he grew older, he felt called to share his faith with the people of Ireland who did not know Christ. When St. Patrick was around 20 years old, he escaped from his captivity after receiving a dream from God. In the dream, he was told to go to the coast of Ireland. When he did this, he found sailors on the shore who were willing to take him back to his family in Britain. Whilst living in Britain, he had another dream, this one showing him the people of Ireland calling out to him, calling him holy and begging him to come walk among them once more. St. Patrick began studying for the priesthood after this and was later ordained by St. Germanus. Later, St. Patrick was ordained bishop and sent to spread the gospel in Ireland. St. Patrick arrived in Ireland on March 25th, 433. Upon arriving, St. Patrick met the chief of one of the Irish tribes, named Dichu. He threatened to kill St. Patrick. When Dichu's arm was made immobile, he began listening to St. Patrick preaching. Dichu received the message and was converted to Christianity. After this, his arm was able to move freely. This conversion was just one of many that St. Patrick brought about in Ireland by preaching among the people. Some people began following him, and he sent them out to preach as well. St. Patrick and his followers combined converted thousands of Irish people. Many churches were built throughout Ireland. When kings were converted, their families and kingdoms were also converted by the message that spread throughout the land. Some famous followers of St. Patrick were named Benengus, Auxilius, Nicerni, and Fiac. All of these individuals were later canonized saints in the church. His preaching also did make a great impact on St. Bridget of Ireland, who went on to build other churches and monasteries in Ireland. St. Patrick's method of sharing the Christian belief in the Trinity with the Irish is linked to perhaps the most widely known Irish symbol, that's the shamrock. Using this readily available plant, St. Patrick was able to make the mystery of the Trinity a concept that was easy to grasp, explaining that though the shamrock contains three individual leaves, these leaves grow from the same stem, making them into one plant as a whole. In the same way, he said, God is three persons, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Yet, as the shamrock is one plant, the three persons of the Trinity are one God. In using this example, which could be found in any yard or any hillside in Ireland, the people were able to grasp the complexity of this concept better and dedicated their lives to God. St. Patrick preached all over Ireland for 40 years. Over these years, he worked many miracles. He also wrote of his love for God in his Confessions. St. Patrick died on March 17th, 461 in Seoul, where he had built his first church in Ireland. His remains are buried in Downpatrick, Scotland. It is commonly said that St. Patrick drove all the snakes out of Ireland. In some legends, he drove them to the oceans to drown after they plagued him during a time of fasting. They were also a powerful symbol to the pagans who lived in Ireland at the time of St. Patrick. Some believe that the idea of St. Patrick driving the snakes out of Ireland is a metaphor for St. Patrick spreading Christianity throughout Ireland. thereby removing the pagan traditions and symbols such as a snake, since snakes were a symbol of paganism. So St. Patrick's Feast is on the 17th of March, so that was yesterday. And St. Patrick is the patron saint of engineers, the reason being since he built many churches in Ireland, as well as for people who are afraid of snakes or protection against snake bites, since the legend around him scaring off the snakes. The symbols that St. Patrick is often depicted with are a cross, the clerics of a bishop, including the staff, the shamrock, and snakes. The cross and the clerics of a bishop represent his Christian faith. The shamrock shows the way he taught the Trinity to the Irish people, and the snake is a reference to the legend that he removed the snakes from Ireland.